Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday, January 17th, 2026. It's time for another edition of Hobby Hotline here on the Four Collectors channel here on YouTube, and then it will be out on audio on your favorite podcast platforms on Tuesday morning. So I'm joined by we're supposed to have a third person. Maybe something's going on. I haven't heard nothing, but my other guest or co-host is Orlando, a collector's dream. And if for some reason it's just me and Orlando, we'll hold down the fort here. And as always, anyone's welcome to call in. How are you this morning, Orlando?
I'm doing great, John, and it's just me and you. That's okay. Hopefully, the other guy will show up and join
Yeah,
us.
we'll
He may
see.
be a
We'll
little late.
see.
We'll see what happens. If not, you can talk for two people, and I can talk for.
I that that's not lying. So I'd like to argue that, but I can't. Let's get some good mornings in here before we start here with our topics. Stukes, Scott, good morning. Confluence Sports Cards.
That's Ruben.
Okay.
That's Ruben
He
Snyder
changed
started
his name.
a new YouTube
Yeah.
channel. So
All right. There's Ruben. I learned something. There we got my Mad City. Baseball card curmudgeon. Morning. Jeff Eklund. Good morning. Peter B. I'm not going to say the numbers, but Peter B. Top of the morning to you as well. Five foul ball. We may not always agree with his take, but I'll give him credit. He's here. He's a supporter of the show, and that's saying something. He doesn't have to be, and he is. So, good morning to him. Larry Gitlin. Good morning. I put the link there for anyone that may want to call in or come on and tell me I'm wrong. Not Orlando, but me. Good morning to Philly Joe. Peacemaker Cards. Barry. All right, there we go. Well, first comment, would anyone know if the LA Dodgers have bought Fanatics yet? I don't know. The way Fanatics is could be the other way around. I'm just kidding, but no, not yet. But we're going to talk about not the Dodgers, but we're going to talk about Fanatics here later in the show, Orlando. So the topics are on the rundown to the left. You can see them there. We're going to talk the new Topps flagship, Fanatics starting their own kind of studios. We're going to talk about Ryan Hoge from Collectors, kind of laid out what's in store for 2026 with all three grading companies now under the umbrella of Collectors. Upper Deck is making debut patch cards, much like Topps launched last year. A little different, though. We'll talk about that when we get there as well. And then at the end, if we got some time, I think we will. We'll talk some NFL football, make some picks in the college football championship on Monday, which you have a particular rooting interest in, being from Florida. I think most people can guess, who you're rooting for. Well, you just gave it away, but I don't blame you. You're in Florida, right? You're in
yep.
Florida. So, here's a good morning from St. James Wynn. Vintage card collector. Baseball needs a salary cap. Yeah. I'm a Mets fan, and I know they've spent their share of money to Orlando, but nothing comparatively to what the Dodgers are doing. And just, I don't know, obviously they're making money, but I don't know how much profit they're making with all the contracts they're doling out. But yeah, they're making money, and maybe they're trying to be a dynasty and just win a bunch of World Series in a row. I don't blame them for what they're doing. If anything, like the comment, we need a salary cap, even if it affects the Mets where they're over it and they can't be. I would support it just for the parity of the sport. Chris Harris is jumping in here with us, Orlando, so he's going to be third man in. If the gentleman shows up, we'll figure that out if and when that happens. What's going on, Chris?
Can't hear
Uh-oh.
you, Chris. Can't
All
hear
right.
you.
Maybe it's just coming on because he thinks he looks so good. I don't
You're
know.
on mute.
Yeah, Chris, we can't hear you. All right. So while he's trying to figure that out, I'm going to take him off screen here just for the moment till he figures that out. All right. So Topps flagship coming out here very soon. I'll put there we see it. There's the box format and an example of the Shohei Otani card on the box. I like what they did with, everyone always, debates who's going to be the box cover boy, right? Trout or the Otanis or Skeens. I like what they did this year. You got four players, two retired, two current. The retired ones being Hank Aaron and Ken Griffey Jr. The currents being Otani and Aaron Judge, and obviously the reigning MVPs from each league, and two throwbacks with Griffey and Aaron. I mean, thoughts on just even the box? I know it's a simple thing. Most of the time, they're going to get thrown away, but it is the optics. I like that they show some of the past and the current with the box itself.
Yeah, I definitely like the box, and it's a 75th anniversary, which is it's big. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get personally. I don't think I'll get to see the 100th anniversary. So, the 75th anniversary, I think it's really big for them. I do like the box. I think the box could be definitely a collector's item, and I do like that they put Griffey and Aaron. Kind of wish they would have put Mantle there because Mantle was kind of, the big card when they started in 52. So I would have liked to see Mantle included in that along with Griffey. But you got Shohei and you got Judge. So I like the design of the box. And if you want to get into the design of the cards, I actually am a fan of the design of the cards. I like
Yeah,
that it's simple. It's not a really flashy design. And if you look at it, I think the picture of the player is bigger. A lot of times they have a border that takes up too much of the card and kind of distracts from the photo. And in this design, I think it's a nice, simple design. You got the Dodgers or the logo of the team on the bottom, and on the top you've got the writing. But the main part of the card is the photograph, and I do really like that a lot. And the straight line just keeps it simple. It doesn't have anything to distract from the photo. So personally, I'm a fan of the design. We'll see how the photos are. I want to make sure that they pick good photos and stuff like that. But from the Shohei card, I'm a fan.
Craig and Mangini both agree with you. I like
Yeah.
it as well. There's like a uniform stripe they kind of incorporated like that as part of the design of the card. The name is clean to read. Some years that's not always the case. You got obviously the team logo, the position, and a big photo. Right? It's not there. There is a border, but it's not overbearing, if you will. White borders, which I kind of like. I'm a white border fan, and it's for me, Orlando and Chris. I know for you, Orlando, you do mostly vintage. So do I, but I also set up as a dealer, so I do open a little bit, and so I've opened a box of Topps flagship at least one minimum every year since 1980. So I have a 45-year streak, if you will. So I'll continue that probably to the end of me. It'll be it's sort of a rite of passage for me in a tradition, regardless of the design. But you always, whenever the design comes out, right, you always want to jump in, voice your opinion. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What could have they done differently? Like right here, the Mad City says if they printed them on cardboard like they did 75 years ago. Probably a little more cost intensive. They do have this is the 75th anniversary, Orlando and Chris in the chat room. So they have that top 75 logo on each card. So it's not, there'd be a few people who, when they get it, if they don't know, they might think they've got like a parallel or something. But, Tony says, looks like a combination of the last few annual releases. So that's the beauty when these come out, right? Some people dig it. Some people think they left a little bit on the table where they could have did more, So, but it is what it is. It's coming out. We also know, as a baseball fan, we also know when this comes out, right? Baseball season, pitchers and catchers reporting is not far behind. Chris, are you there?
No.
I'm here.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
What do you?
I think
You're a traditionalist. Go ahead.
Yeah, every year when Topps releases the design of their baseball set, there's kind of this parlor game among collectors. What does this remind you of? Last year when they unveiled the design and it had that curve in it, a lot of collectors were reminded, oh, well, they're just using 1982 baseball with the hockey sticks. With this year's design, I'm not really sure you could compare it to anything else. It does look somewhat original, and to me, it kind of looks more like a Bowman set than a Topps set.
Yeah, I can see a little bit of that.
Yeah,
I can see a little bit of that. Now, Chris, do you? We'll go around. Like I just said, I open a box every year, at least one box, sometimes more, but one minimum, just as tradition. Chris, do you? I know you're doing your '90s stuff, but like, is this something you will open?
I've completely stopped collecting new products, so probably not. I'll pick up a factory set later in the year. So
okay. But you won't even grab a pack or something or
No.
a Walmart. Okay. I just,
No.
nothing wrong with it. I just wanted to get everyone's take. Same question for you, Orlando. Do you partake in opening any of the new stuff or not necessarily?
No, not necessarily, but it all is really going to depend on the price. What's that hobby box going to cost you? If it's going to be, way over $100, $200, I probably won't. But I may just, if I see something at Walmart, a retail box, I may pick up one of those, and hopefully those are going to be, I don't know, maybe $30 or something like that. I'd pick that up. I definitely would like to open a few packs.
The SRP, like you can pre-order it right now through the Topps website. It's at $99 a box for the regular hobby. They got the jumbos, which I think are $150. They sell them
$199.
The jumbos?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was $89 and $189 last year.
Okay.
For Hobby Wax and Hobby Jumbo. And you do get one fewer relic in a box of jumbos this year. So it used to be one autograph and two relics. Now it's 1 and 1 for $10 more. So thanks, Topps.
Yeah. You meant thanks Fanatics, but we know.
Well, yeah, let's be honest.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty reasonable. At least they kept it, at $100 for the box, and so I think that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, I definitely think about buying a box just for the nostalgia purposes and for the 75th anniversary. And like I said, I'd like to probably keep that box as a I guess a nostalgia memorial to the 75th anniversary.
Yeah, well,
so here's a comment from TJ, and I want to kind of address it. Tony says, for a 75th anniversary design, this card design just reinforces Fanatics Topps, doesn't really appreciate their history. Again, opinions are each their own, and he's not wrong. I will say this, though. One thing I read that they're doing, I haven't seen a picture yet. I'm sure it's out there, but the variations are made on the 1952 Topps design. So traditionally, a variation would be the same border, the same design, but like a different photo, maybe like a close up or a guy getting like Gatorade poured on him or having a big glove on his hand, something that different. Oh, look, this must be something. What they did this year, what I read is correct, is they made the variation, same card number, but on a 52 Topps design. So if you pull out a card that's 1952 Topps, it's the variation of the regular card in the set. That's kind of neat.
A variation, not the only variation.
No, well, listen, there is no only variation,
and it's only for the rookies are getting the 52 treatment.
Oh, really?
Entire 350 card set.
Oh, all right.
I spent all of yesterday processing the checklist and all of the known parallels for Baseball Cardpedia. It's up there right now if you want to look for yourself. There's a 52 Topps variation, but it's only for the rookies. And there's the other usual gimmick style rookies. There's the player number, the golden image, which is the different photo, but they've actually given you the courtesy of identifying it easily. There's others as well. So
do you know?
I do want to circle back to a comment about, for a 75th anniversary design, this doesn't really enforce Fanatics' history. And I was kind of surprised by the lack of 75th anniversary content in this product, because traditionally when Topps has some kind of a milestone anniversary, they go all out on it. You remember 25 years ago for the 50th anniversary, they had reprints from every Topps set up to that point, right? 50 cards, one for each year. And then they did it again for the 60th anniversary. And then they did it again for the 65th anniversary. But they're not doing it for the 75th. I think all they're really doing for the anniversary is there's a special 75th anniversary parallel that's numbered to 75. And there's a die-cut 75th anniversary autograph set. I don't know what they look like or what they're numbered to, but that's about it. It's almost as if they took the structure from last year's set and copied and pasted it into this year's set and added a parallel. Voila, 75th anniversary. So I'm kind of disappointed in that.
Yeah. Here's what I was going to say. I was going to say this real quick, and Royals 417 must be reading my mind. Heritage is their brand that like sort of uses the old designs as new releases, though, Chris. Could have Topps done more? I'm not arguing that. Topps can always do more. That's a big argument we can make across the board for a lot of the things they do. And one thing they do more of is raise prices, right, of their product. That they're not falling short in. But I always feel like, and I'm not a fan of Heritage, truth be told. It's the one product I sort of avoid because, like, to me, in my mind, as someone who kind of grew up with a lot of these designs that Heritage is recreating, it falls short. It doesn't do it justice for me. And I lived through the original. So do I hate it? I don't hate it, but it's the least out of opening stuff. I open almost no Heritage. That's unlike the Topps flagship. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, you will be happy to know that the annual 100-card Junk Wax era Bloat Fest insert is back in Topps. And this year it's 1991 because, you know, we need to celebrate the 35th anniversary of that, apparently.
Chris, do you know, have they gone crazy with the parallels? And do you know how many parallels there are of each player? I mean, 10,
I
20,
counted
30,
57 full parallels.
Oh, wow. See, that's
plus
crazy.
the some partial parallels, plus the 52 variations. Look, just go to Baseball Cardpedia right now. It's all there.
So
Everything that I know that's there.
You can't make a rainbow anymore. You know what I think, John, that would have been a good idea to do? You remember that year that they actually inserted old vintage cards in
and they stamped them,
I would have loved to have seen some of those, put some original 1957 Topps cards in there and things like that as inserts.
Well, heck, if you're going to do that, I love the idea, Orlando. You're right on the money, I think. Do it with 52s. Now, obviously, whoops, I think we lost them.
Stage.
Oh, there you go. If you're going to do that, do it with the 52s. Now, the 52s are too big, but put in there a card. I know people love redemptions, but put in a card that says this card good for an original 1952 Topps Eddie Matthews card, right?
Right.
And don't stamp it. Do not stamp it, right? Put in original cards like a chase, I don't know if Topps has they could get really crazy with the cheese whiz and make the Mano like the big hunt, right? But one redemption for Mano. Put a 52 Topps Jackie Robinson, all the stars, even the semi-stars, right? They don't have to be all on that tier, but I think people would get a kick out of pulling a card that's a redemption card for an original 1952 Topps, but please don't stamp them.
No.
Yeah, don't stamp them. TJ in the comments brought up something that I was about to bring up. Topps actually did that in 1991. They inserted basically one base card from every Topps set ever released up to 1990. But for the oversized 1950 cards, they had to put redemptions in. Yeah. And there was one collector, there was one redemption card that was good for an entire Topps run, 52 to 90. And somebody actually did pull that. One other thing I wanted to mention to Orlando. Sure, you can still collect the rainbow of Topps. You just have to collect 3 different ones of one, 4 printing plates, 4 red parallels numbered to 5, 4 black parallels numbered to 10, 4 orange parallels numbered to 25, 4, you get the idea.
I get the picture. There's just no way of doing that kind of stuff. It's crazy.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Did anybody ask for all these low number parallels? And does anybody actually want them? No, they know.
Yeah. John, am I on the screen? It looks like I'm backstage here. Am I?
No, you're on the screen.
Okay. All right. Good.
And one other question in the comment. Yes, they did bring back the flat black parallels numbered to the year of Topps baseball. So there's a black parallel numbered to 75 for the full set.
Yeah,
they actually listen to us.
Like Tony said, and I'm sure a lot of people, it's hard to even figure out sometimes. I think we've all at least once, right, have pulled something and had to do some research about what this is, what are the odds, how many are there, how good or not good is it? Here's an interesting comment. We'll kind of close out this topic for today with this comment, from Royals 417. He says, let's go back to 5 or 6 series. Fanatics could sell more boxes. Why settle on 3 when you can have 5 or 6 series? How about thoughts on that, guys? Back when they used to do that back in the 50s and 60s and early 70s, where there would be Series 1 and Series 2 and Series 3. I don't think they called them that back then, but they released them that. But even if they call it, they and even if they charge less for the boxes because you're having 5 or 6 series, I think people will open more
Charge
and
less
maybe
for the boxes? What?
listen, I'm trying. I'm trying, Chris. E for effort. I'm not saying it's gonna work. I'm just throwing it out there. It's
Yeah, I
like
think it would
fishing.
keep things fresh. You got something new coming out every time. So I like that idea coming out in series like that. I think I'm a big fan of that. Now they do still have some of these high series numbers, but they're like short prints. You know.
Yeah, but that I think they could do that in each series too. You know what I mean? They can the last 100 cards of Series 1 are produced at half the print runs of the other ones. Same thing, Series 2, and so on and so forth. So they kind of create that old school back in the day high numbers where they're less prevalent.
Yeah, I mean,
And
listen, they could do a lot of things, but it's just a shame that they didn't really do as much for the 75th anniversary as they could have. They could have done a lot
yeah,
more history stuff and maybe get some of these modern guys to go back and look at the older Topps years, and it's kind of a shame they didn't take a lot of advantage in that area.
yeah, they left a little meat on the bone for sure, I
Yeah.
think. And again, the product's not officially out. So we're all
Do
speculating based on stuff from Fanatics / Tops
yeah.
themselves. Like we're
Do
not
we
making
know
stuff up.
do we know, John or Chris, do we know what the backs look like? I mean, are they going to have stats or anything like that?
I have not
Um,
seen the backs, just
I
the
have
front.
not seen the back, which is interesting. You think they would release a photo of the back as well as the front? I mean, they're showing pictures of what the box is going to look like. My maybe it's the older guy in me. It's getting harder to see these numbers on the back, and I forgot which year Tops it blended in with like the background coloring. 5 and
Yeah.
8s were difficult to tell apart. I
A
was
lot of
like,
those early 2010s Tops
yeah,
backs, the
like
sequential
man,
number on the back was really small. So
it's and Scott. I listen as a TA, as a teaching. I'm in the teaching profession at high school. I've got my quota of 6 7s. I don't want to hear it anymore, but we know that's not going to happen. So, all right, guys. I think we gave Tops enough free publicity there promoting the new release, but and I like to see some of the great ideas we had in the chat room. Top should be open to like ask people, hey, what do you want to see? You're the consumer. It's your money that's going to buy our products. What you guys and gals want to see from us, and maybe take some of that feedback in. So let's go to Upper Deck here, guys, and they're kind of taking a page out of Top's book here with their new Game Used rookie debut jersey cards, which Topps implemented last year. Now, sometimes I bag on Topps, but those Major League Debut patch 101s, I'll probably never pull one, obviously, but that's just a great idea, right? I know it's artificial scarcity, but think about that, right? Paul Skeens, I know Dick's Sporting Goods owns it, at least right now. But think about that card. If Paul Skeens becomes a Hall of Famer, maybe gets a ring or two in his career. I don't know with the Pirates, but maybe somewhere else, right? Becomes a pitching legend, along the lines of pitching legends before. Think about that card. That patch was on his first game ever in the big leagues, right? Think of the value of the card. Not that it should be all about that, just even think of the sentimental value, right? So Upper Deck's now implementing this in their NHL licensing. A little different though. There is a 1-1. I think they're calling it black. You see the card on the screen. It's Matthew Schaefer, the Islanders' #1 pick, who's off to a pretty good start. The 1-1s will have like a patch that says something about it being the first game in the NHL. But they're taking the whole jersey rather than just taking the patch, guys in chat room. Upper Deck's taking the whole jersey and cutting it up. The patch will be on the 101 card, but you can still get a rookie debut jersey card numbered to 50 or 75. Just it might not be the patch version. I like that as well. I don't think Topps did that. I think they just took the patches off the baseball jerseys and then the jersey stayed. Upper Deck's getting the whole jersey and encompassing as part of their release. Kind of thoughts here, obviously they took a page out of Fanatics Topps handbook here. Do you like that they're utilizing the whole jersey itself?
Me, I love that. I think that's a great opportunity for us regular people to have a piece of the first jersey, so to speak, of each player, not just that one patch card that exists. So I think that's a great opportunity for everybody, and we'll see how many of those they produce. But I would think that they're going to produce at least 100 of those, because the jerseys, especially in hockey, are huge.
Yeah, leave it to Upper Deck to take one other company's idea and make it better.
Yeah.
Imagine, because I know players, I don't think I'm divulging a great secret here, but players sometimes wear more than one jersey in a game. So imagine if Topps were to have taken Paul Skeens' whole jersey that he wore during his debut and cut that up and put jersey cards of that jersey. I'd love to have one. And I'm not even a Pirates fan.
Yeah,
and then you could do the thing with the patch and make that a 101. Big deal, but yeah, I mean,
it's a great point. I'm not an Islanders guy. I'm a Rangers fan, and I'm going to start. I have a cardboard bag. I'm going to start wearing there. But if I'm an Islanders fan, right, I might not be able to pull the 101, and then I'm not going to be able to afford it when whoever pulls it. But you have those other versions where I can still have a piece of that player from his first game. If I'm a team collector or player collector or just whatever, you can still purchase that or pull it, right? That I like that. It would have been nice to see Topps do that besides the patch itself, which is a really great idea. One of the best ideas they've had in years. What'll be interesting, guys, is to see the Topps see this, and then next year, not only do we get the Major League Debut 101s, but now we get like the Major League Debut regular jersey patches on, I say regular, but the whole jersey, they do what Upper Deck does. You think we see that because of this? Does one innovation led to this innovation, and does Topps say, okay, we'll do that as well? We like it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're smart enough, they obviously should do that, and they could definitely get more fans and more people to buy their products. Because a lot of times now, once that debut patch card is pulled, it's like, okay, what else is there in that product? So I think this is a great incentive for them to do that. And, even though some of those jerseys, you may get some napkin patches, there are probably some really nice 3-4 color patches that would come out of those jerseys. And I would like to see them do that in the basketball. They're doing the same thing in basketball now with the debut patches or logo man patches. And it'd be great for them to take that jersey of that, Cooper flag or something like that, and just cut up that jersey and put that in the cards. If they're smart enough, I think that's a great idea that they would take and copy from Upper Deck, just like Upper Deck copied the debut patch from them.
Here's a great point by.
Go ahead.
And real quick, great point by Eamon Vegas. By using the full jersey, they can put these debut relic jerseys and rookie products throughout the year, and not have them all have to come out in one set. So you can chase it along different releases, along different lines of that company's brand. I do not believe Upper Deck's doing that, but maybe that's something that will happen in subsequent years as these companies try to figure these things out, right? And I love that idea, right? So I didn't get the Matt Schaefer debut jersey in the Upper Deck flagship, but I got another crack at it with Parkhurst, let's say, which I'm gonna buy anyway. And now I can still get it there, be their version on their brand, but still the same jersey, right? Just you're spacing it out along different lines. I kind of like that. And here's the other thing I thought about, and if the chat room or whoever wants to chime in, I would think though, here's the interesting thing: if you're a professional player and you're making your debut, it doesn't matter what sport, with hockey, baseball, football, I would tend to think that that athlete would probably want to keep his first jersey ever, sentimentally. So the fact that like Upper Deck is able to get these jerseys is probably, kudos to them. But maybe that's why Topps couldn't. Maybe, hey, we're going to take the patch off of it, but the jersey stays and it's yours to, you give it to your parent, whoever, whatever you decide to do. Maybe there's a little element of that where a player doesn't want to give up his first game jersey ever. That's something he wants to have in his house, framed for his kids and family to see and enjoy in themselves. Any thoughts there?
But John, like you said, earlier, especially in hockey, they can use that jersey in the first period and then use the one that they took in the second period or the third period. They're probably going to wear 3 jerseys during the game.
Yeah. There was a comment by Philly Joe, wait until players start to wear multiple jerseys and patches. Well, Cooper Flagg wore 3 different jerseys in his debut game. I mean, that's been documented. So it's probably going to be plausible that if a high-profile rookie in any sport makes their debut, they're going to wear multiple jerseys. One for them to keep, one for them to give to the Hall of Fame or whatever, and a third to get cut up. So,
yeah, Scott's got his Little League jersey with wool. That'll date him. Mine was probably wool too. I'm pretty old as well. I don't have it though. Unfortunately, I don't know where that thing. It's probably landfill. Unfortunately, somewhere. And so here's a question. A question off a question. So with the cases where they're wearing 2, 3, 4 jerseys in one particular game, let's say it's a debut, which one is like the one? Or are they all equally the same?
I think they still wore that jersey during their first game. So whether it's the first or second, I mean, we'll never know, but I think that's okay. It's a game-worn jersey from his first pro game, either way.
Yeah.
I think I read that when Cooper Flagg made his debut, and when he switched jerseys, they just took the patch off of one jersey and quickly sewn it onto another. So there was still only one patch, even though there were 3 jerseys. So,
all right. Jeff Eklund says they will change between innings at halftime and each intermission. Yeah,
they do that now.
Yeah, they do that now, and I knew that. Then you can, how do you differentiate? Like Orlando said, I don't think he can. Like he wore it his first game. Like it is what it is. Like whether it's the first one, the second one, we may never know. And but if they're taking the patch off, I kind of like that. That way you don't necessarily have 3 patches going around. We see that problem now with fake patches. And hey, that looks like mine, but mine's a 1-1. How do you have a 2? And because one's fake and one's legit. So, all right, guys, let's go into our third topic here. Ryan Hogue, the CEO of Collectors Universe, which now, as we know, is the parent company to not only PSA, but SGC and now Beckett as well, went on his own podcast on his own PSA network And you got a lot of the talking heads, right? Nothing wrong with that. We all speculate, but there's a lot of talking heads. When SGC got acquired, or soon after, right? They're going to phase them out. The end is near. No more SGC. And then the same thing happened, sort of with the Beckett acquisition. He again went on the podcast, and he basically said, not only we're not closing or phasing these brands out, we're going to try to make them better. With SGC, he talked about they're expanding their location. They're going to be hiring more graders. Their turnaround, I can tell you this firsthand as a bulk subber, their turnaround times are not good right now. So they're going to hire more graders. With Beckett, they're going to get a refresh on their labels and an update on their labels. And then he even went as far as to say, PSA has that vault thing with eBay, where if you grade with them, you can put it in their vault or on eBay to sell from their vault. They're gonna eventually. He didn't give a time frame, or at least I didn't hear it. He didn't give a time frame when. I think by the end of 2026, you'll be able to do that with SGC cards and Beckett cards in the vault with eBay as well, the same as PSA. He did mention they would still operate as their own brands under the collector's umbrella. I guess to you guys in the chat room, you're buying this, or is it just playing nice in the sandbox, or is it the real deal?
Well, I think we got to wait and see. I mean, they say a lot of things. We just got to wait. I mean, initially he came out and said it was a boutique brand, and that right there said we're going to just kind of let it go and see what happens. And he said we'll wait and see what the customers want and what the customers do with it, and go from there. But I think what probably happened is when that Congressman Patrick Ryan wrote that letter, and the FTC and stuff came after them, or supposedly, I don't know what will happen with that. I think that kind of lit a fire under their butt to say, we better at least do something about this. And so I think that's probably something that kind of sparked this a little bit. But yeah, I mean, first of all, that SGC building in Boca was all SGC, and they took it over, and now they're giving them back a piece of their own building. Technically, that's how they're expanding. And maybe they're giving back a few of their, their graders back. Who knows?
See, that I heard there. So there's a comment from Stukes that I want to, because he took the words right out of my mouth. So again, I'm a bulk subber for SGC. The turnaround times have obviously slowed way down. I call my rep. He's pretty straightforward with me. I say, hey, what's going on? And this is exactly what he told me. And, so PSA poached some of their graders, not their top graders, but some of their staff to add to their arsenal. But he said, John, the problem. He goes, it's not a problem because we're glad. But the issue is we're having the same amount of cards come in with less employees to grade them. So what's going out the door compared to what it used to be is way down. So he wanted to remind me, like all these gem rate charts, and this goes for, I guess, for everyone. It looks like they're not getting the same amount of cards. They're getting the same amount of cards. They're just getting less out the door. Those gem rate reports are reflective of what's graded. So what's happening, and this is what Stuke's comment is pointing out, guys, is there's just a lot of cards at the SGC facilities not going out the door, more than what was going on before when they were at full power.
Yeah,
so,
they got the backlog going on now.
Yeah.
And the other thing that they said is they were going to pass some type of technology that PSA has over to SGC and to Beckett to kind of help them a little bit better with determining, authenticity of cards, fakes and things like that. And at Beckett, they're going to start doing the imaging, which Beckett doesn't do at all. So they are kind of talking and sharing some ideas from PSA over to SGC and Beckett now, which I think is going to hopefully help them out a little bit more. But the backlog is the issue. I mean, I heard that things weren't getting logged in until 2 to 3 weeks
Oh, that's
after they
true.
had received the stuff.
I hate to say
You
it, but
know?
I'm not a liar. That is, I can tell you again, as the bulk subber, that is correct. And in some cases, even longer, unfortunately. Orlando. A couple comments here too. All seems like Carl from Oz says he ain't buying what Ryan Hoge is selling, and I get that. I get that. It's like you said, Orlando, right? Don't tell us, show us, right? The
Right.
old don't tell us, show us, right? Vintage card collector says, regardless of longer turnaround time, seems very unlikely SGC is getting the same number of cards with volume down. He's not buying that. That's true. I will say this, and I'm at about 80% of what I got pre bulk rates going away. So when the bulk rates went away, and I decided after talking to my customer base to still do like the bulk submittal service, I get about 80% of what I used to. Now, I did think that number would be lower. So if it was a show where I was getting 400 cards, I'm probably getting 280, 300 instead of that 400 now. So it is less, but I actually thought it was going to be worse. I was honestly concerned with like I wouldn't have a decision to make. The numbers would just go away and this proof would be in the pudding. That didn't happen. So I'm operating whatever that percentage is, 75, 80% of before they did away with the bulk rate, which kind of surprises me. And I thought that would be lower. So again, that's only one person. I can't speak across the nation or other bulk subbers or just the subs in general. And I'll put it this way: from talking to my rep, if they're down, they're not down as much as probably certain other people make it out to be. Let me just say that. Chris, you want to chime in on this one?
Yeah, I listened to that podcast, and there was one question that didn't come up that I was curious what Ryan Hoge's answer would be, and I guess it couldn't come up because it was on a PSA sponsored podcast. And that is, what happens if you're forced to divest SGC and BGS? This all just assumed that antitrust action won't be taken, and that these three companies will be allowed to compete under the same corporate umbrella. I don't know if they're being overconfident, but if I had any advice for them, I don't think I would be. I would start preparing for action to be taken. What I think they're trying to do here is, you guys follow wrestling, right? You guys
I'm not a huge fan, but I get the general gist of it and the storyline.
So in 2001, Vince McMahon bought WCW and ECW as two major competitors. And what he tried to do in the aftermath is create a split roster. There was going to be the Raw roster and the SmackDown roster. And those two rosters were going to compete against one another. And it didn't work. It was, I don't want to say horrible, but business as a whole afterwards did not do so well. Fans went away. Triple H went on his reign of terror. It was bad. So if Collectors is expecting to compete against to have PSA, SGC, and BGS all compete against themselves under the Collectors umbrella, I think they might be in for a rude awakening in the long run if that happens. So
you think, Chris, and then we'll kind of close this out too. So you think like this FTC thing might actually there might be some action taken, or at least an investigation launched?
I think they might look. I think everybody knows that I used to work at the FTC, so I kind of know how this process works, but you will be surprised at some of the mergers that we've looked at over the years. one of the last cases that I worked on was a merger of two national chains of pet crematoriums. Who knew such a thing existed? And I would venture to suggest that the nationwide market in pet crematoriums is a lot less than that of professional card grading services. So if they will look at that acquisition, it would not surprise me if they look at card grading as well.
Let me ask you this. Go ahead, Hernando.
I think that's a good point, and maybe this is an opportunity for collectors to build up those brands, the Beckett and the SGC brand, up more to par. So in case they do have to sell them, they'll be able to get some decent money for them versus having them just let them go and become so small that they're going to be worth a lot less.
And look, I want to state right now, I do not have any skin in this game. Okay, I do not get my cards graded, and I think it is awesome that Beckett, not BGS, but the rest of Beckett, is going to be in the hands of a company that seems to know what they're doing with it, unlike previous and current ownership. So I think it's awesome that collectors bought Beckett, but I think the acquisition of BGS, I think, is still a bit problematic from an antitrust perspective. So
what could happen, Chris? Like like you said, you used to work there. At the end of the day, could the government say you have to resell Beckett and SGC to another
group?
They
can force the company. They could force collectors to spin off one or both of those companies. Who else is out there to buy them? Hopefully not Fanatics, but I'm pretty sure there would be a buyer for one or both of them.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Heck, I hate to say it, Fanatics would probably be the first one lined up to try to grab one of those, which I really don't.
They should not be allowed to do so.
No, it's a conflict of interest.
Could
but
you imagine?
That don't mean they won't try, guys. That don't.
Well, John, if you can imagine the previous owner of SGC who got tons of money for him, Dave Foreman, if he saw the value go down tremendously and they were forced to sell, he could probably buy back SGC at half the price. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I'm him, I'd do that unless he blew all the money already, which I don't know neither here.
Yeah. Bring Peter Steinberg back.
Yeah, I would love. Speaking of him, I got to reach out to him and see how he's doing. That's a good reminder for me. So, all right, guys. Well, good. Well, the proof. Yeah, the proof's gonna be in the pudding, right? We're gonna, he can go on a podcast. He can say, "Here's what we're doing in 2026." Like Missouri. Show me state. Show me, don't tell me, right? Let's see it. Let's see it happen. I will say this, as someone who loves SGC. I'm glad I heard that and rather not something else, right? Like, we are going to belittle them down and then phase them out, right? Again, he probably wouldn't say that if they were.
Go 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we got you. All right, so let me put up the next topic here, kind of our final one before we get into some football picks. Fanatics TV. Fanatics, along with the help of Top Company, are starting Fanatics Studios. They're going to create content. They're already got some shows. They were already aligned with Tom Brady, YouTube, ESPN, the 28 Olympics in Los Angeles. They're going to have a annual flag football, like celebrity game that'll be aired on their channel. I don't think this is a channel. They're just going to produce content for different channels. So their content won't be necessarily just on one channel, but can be on ESPN. It might be on Fox Sports. It can be on who knows what as they launch different programming. But it brings up the question: how much card content are they going to make part of this new venture? And again, we're all speculate here. Are they going to incorporate it? They probably are, because Tom Brady's involved. He's involved with ownership in the Tom Brady card vault now. So we're going to get some card content. But like, a lot of people are like, are they going to buy podcasts up or YouTube channels? I don't see that, but I don't know. What do you think? Is it as simple as just having content for other channels like ESPN and the like, or do you think this might be more to it than that?
Well,
I'm kind of curious as what they do come up with. Maybe they might start doing 30 for 30 style documentaries. I'm a sucker for that. I'll watch, even if it is a Fanatics experience. And yeah, I think they would be stupid not to do a card related program. Like what was that show that relief pitcher did?
the Card Life.
Yeah, Card Life.
Yeah, Match Straw.
They do
Match
something
Straw.
like that. Yeah.
I'm laughing at
Brady's
this
Card
comment.
Life, a Fanatics
Yeah,
experience.
I think that
This is the do guests have to wear all white if appearing on Fanatics TV?
Yeah, the white parties.
Yeah.
No, I do think that ultimately they're going to do some card stuff, of course. But from what I hear, it's going to be a lot of documentaries. They're going to be doing films. Of course, Tom Brady's going to be involved. They're going to be doing some stuff with the Olympics and show some things that they normally won't show on regular channels, kind of backstage at the Olympics. They're going to have that flag football tournament or something like that. Also, that Brady's going to be somehow involved in that. And, it's going to be a lot of films, I heard, documentaries, stuff like that. They're also going to be doing involved in the ESPY Awards with ESPN, where they're going to be part of that. Like, they're going to do like an all-day thing. I was reading up on it, and the company they're involved with, I guess it's called OBB, does a lot of that kind of stuff with ESPN. So I think it's going to be kind of like a joint venture with Fanatics, ESPN, this film company that does movies and documentaries. So they may do some like exclusive things like a Netflix stuff. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring Ken Golden in here and have him involved.
We need more. We need more Ken Golden, right? Yeah. We don't have enough Ken Golden.
He lives on a golf course in Cherry Hill.
Yeah.
So here we go. A couple funny comments. News alert, right? Fanatic Studio to televise Orlando's morning walks, freeing up his hands. So there, you got a little. All you have to do is walk. You don't have to hold. Orlando's been bought by Fanatics TV.
Yeah.
So,
well, I just got a package, and that's why I had to go down the thing. So on my walk,
you should have said, "Hey, someone's at my door," like the Breaker did.
Yeah, that's right. But on my walk, I said I got a package coming in on Saturday, so that's it.
Tony says, "I can't wait to watch the Fanatics produced Michael Rubin bio." Yeah, that'll be must see. TV. Let's just hope, all the hubbub about Epstein files, just hopefully there's not a future edition of the Rubin files with some of these white parties and things like that. So that's a throwback, right? The OBB, OPP, great early 1990s rap songs, Naughty by Nature, right? I still love that song. No matter, it might be 35 years old, but don't put Golden on Fanatic Studios. Yeah. And here's an interesting comment. Get ready for some Fanatics Now cards after players appear on shows. So another reason to print more cardboard, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, one of the things that I did hear, John, that they were going to do is they were going to be doing a lot of live events from Fanatics Fest on the channel. So they were going to really promote it and have almost like a 24/7 Fanatics Fest, on TV live. Kind of like me going to shows and showing the card show scene. I think they're going to be doing a lot of that at Fanatics Fest and getting more, just more footage from that.
I mean, we don't have
You know
to
what?
actually go.
Right.
Save on the hotel, watch the TV.
Save on the
or watch
hotel,
your
save on the
computer screen.
$59 admission.
Here's an interesting thought, and I'm not saying Fanatics should do this, but I'm surprised no one has really attempted. It would be a lot of work, but we on this very channel, right? We have Hobby Palooza, which is like 2 or 3 days of live streaming hobby content. I'm surprised no one's done like a hobby and radio station where there's like a show, basically Hobby Palooza, but not a special event where it's just that's what it is. And I know there's plenty of content on YouTube. You could go and you can't sleep at 3 a.m. You can open your laptop up and watch your favorite content. I get that, but I'm surprised we haven't seen someone try to do this. Whether it's 24 hours or 16 hours of just live every day, like programming, like at 3, and I'm just throwing names out there, 3 p.m. every day, Sports Card Nation live,
Like a hobby
Do
hotline, 24/7
Yeah.
hobby hotline, John?
Yeah.
John, do you
let's do
remember
it.
Cardboard Connection Radio?
Well, that's what I was going with.
That
this,
actually
that was
started on an actual AM radio station before it became a podcast.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised no one.
do you want to go in on a radio station somewhere, or?
Yeah. Well, now I see all these ads on my Facebook page, like Citrus Radio, like all these, like own your own radio station, and I always get a kick out of it. I sometimes I'll look at it, but like I just not enough hours in my day to do it.
Talk radio has been completely decimated by podcasts. So
yeah, it's like newspapers.
Yeah,
it's gone. They've gone away. All right, guys, we got some football this weekend. Some big games. We got Buffalo traveling to Denver in the divisional round, and then we got San Fran taking on Seattle in the divisional round in the NFC. And then Monday night, we got the college national championship game, the Miami Hurricanes, Orlando's Miami Hurricanes, taking on the Indiana Hoosiers, which is, talk about Cinderella story, the last 2 years, trying to close out an undefeated season with a national title. And right now, Kurt Cignetti's like the talk of greatest coach ever type stuff, just on the run that he's going on. Chris, we'll go first to you. We'll go clockwise here. Who wins each of these games?
First of all, I think what Cignetti's done in Indiana is amazing, because 2 years ago they were 3-9. And the thing is, it's not just Cignetti, it's all the NIL money that's being dumped into this program. And as somebody who went to Rutgers back when Rutgers was good, I think for a lot of us that went to those kind of schools that have D1 FBS football but aren't great, if we get a bunch of alumni together and dump money in the program and hire the right coach, your program could be like Indiana too. So maybe there's hope for the rest of us in this new era of semi-professional college football. The other thing is, college football is just so much better when the U is relevant, isn't it? It's a little more fun.
Yeah.
So I still have Indiana winning. I mean, the way they just destroyed Alabama and Oregon. I mean, I would like to see Indiana take on the Raiders. I think Indiana could win that.
Well, listen, if they wait a year, they can play against their quarterback, because Mendoza is probably the number one pick to the Raiders. So if they want to do that next year, Mendoza can play against his former college team, Chris. So who you got? Indiana. Who do you got in the two NFL games? Buffalo, Denver, San Fran, Seattle.
Seattle is just too good. I mean, I'm an Eagles fan. I wasn't really all that impressed with, even though they beat the Eagles, I really wasn't all that impressed. I mean, they did not win that game. The Eagles offense lost it. So I have Seattle over huge. Denver and Buffalo. That's an interesting matchup with Josh Allen going into Mile High. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo pulls it out.
All right.
So, I think that's the early game, right?
Yeah, that's the
Denver
first game
game.
today.
So,
Yeah, Orlando. We know what your last pick is going to be,
Yeah.
but take on the two NFL games first.
I think I'm with Chris on this. I do think that Seattle is just too strong, and they may take it all the way. I think at this point, the Bills and Denver. That's a tough game because Denver's got a great defense, but I think I give a slight edge to the Bills on this one. I think their
Okay.
offense is good. I think they're going to come out in the end, but I think that's going to be a real close game. I do think Seattle's probably going to win fairly easily over the 49ers. As far as University of Miami and Indiana, I mean, it's been all over the news here.
go ahead. Say
they're,
it.
I got to root for Miami. I think they're the underdog. I mean, Indiana is like the Dodgers of college football right now. They've got everything going for them, and Mendoza threw 5 touchdowns. And Mendoza's a local Miami guy. He graduated from Christopher Columbus High School, and so did Mario Cristobal, who's the coach of Miami. So there's a lot of talk here in Miami about both of the teams. So you got people rooting for Mendoza, but then you got them rooting for the University of Miami to win it. So I think Indiana definitely looks like they're definitely the better team, but I think Miami's playing at home, and you got the home crowd here, and Miami's been playing good. They're on a roll. They really almost didn't even get to the college playoffs. I think they were number 12, and they were just, I think they just sneaked right in, and then they surprised all the other teams.
They sneaked in over Notre Dame.
Over Notre Dame, and they've cut right through all the way now to the championship game. So it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I mean, I would say Indiana's probably going to take it, but I still got to root for the for the Hurricanes in a very close game, in my opinion.
All right. Yeah, I won't argue. All right, here's what I'll say. And I'm a football guy. Like I bet on, I'm not going to lie, I bet on it. Although I haven't bet on any playoff games. I've been a little lazy. I see being here in Syracuse. I'm not a Bills fan. Obviously, see I'm wearing my Steelers salute the service coat. I'm a Steelers guy, but I see the Bills a lot because they're obviously on TV a lot here. Many of my friends are Bills fans. They're not going to like me. I think it's going to be a tough game for them today. It's in Denver. Denver's D is legit. Patrick Surtain is back and playing well. He's a shutdown corner. Here's the bad part. Bills have their receiving cores leave a lot to be desired. Khalil Shakur, Keon Coleman's been almost a bust. I don't know who Patrick Surtain's going to have to shut down. If I'm Denver, I might just put him on Josh Allen because it's going to be, to me, the only way that Buffalo wins today is going to be hero ball with Josh Allen and James Cook. They're going to have to run it because I don't think there's going to be many passing lanes in Denver. And Josh Allen can do that. He's that good. He's capable of winning the game by himself. I don't see it. I think Denver D, they're at home. The Denver D's too good. I think it's close. I think it's a low scoring game. And I think Denver wins it by being at home. And it just seems, I know Buffalo fans are going to put a picture of me on their dartboard after this. It just seems Buffalo always finds a way not to get there. And now they have not Kansas City blocking them, but they have another AFC West team that looks sort of like a juggernaut Maybe not as offensively like with Patrick Mahomes, but Bo Nix does just enough to win games, and that D does the rest. So I'm going Denver in the AFC game today. I'll say this: I know a lot of people picking Seattle. They've had some games this year where they did not look good. They're a good team. They won the division over to San Fran. It's that wear and tear on McCaffrey, right? He's got to do it again. Brock Purdy 2 picks last week. They escaped. I could see this going either way. I think this is a closer game I think it's almost a double-digit point spread, someone said. I think this is a close game. I'm going to go Seattle, but I would not be shocked if San Fran pulls it off. And then to the Monday night game, I can't pick against Indiana. I think it's theirs to lose. You give me Mendoza, you give me Carson back. I'm going to take Mendoza 10 out of 10 times. But like you said, Orlando, and I agree with you, I think the game is, I know Indiana's been rolling people, or Oregon, Alabama before that. I think this game is competitive most of the way, if not the whole way. I think it's a closer game. I think the spread's 8.5. I think I think it'll fall into that, which is good because most of the games that Indiana's won is by 20, 30 points. So I don't see that. Miami's playing in a sense at home. I know there'll be a lot of Indiana people there, but it is in a sense a Miami home game. I think the game will be closer, but I just think Mendoza and that team is just too good. It's a tall task. A lot of people didn't expect Miami to be here. You count me as one of them. But now that they're playing good football. I think this game's closer than people may think. So there we go. We'll see.
All right, I'll be throwing some darts at you there.
Yeah. Well, listen. Like I said, I have no rooting interest, and San Fran's booked kind of banged up. Kittle's out now. That's why I went Seattle. I just think the game might be, it could come down to, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game before we know who's advancing. Where a lot of people think Seattle's just gonna run them out of the gym from Jump Street. I don't think so, but we'll see. That's why they play the game. A good point here by James Wynn. He says, Purdy's going to have to play sort of that perfect QBR game where he doesn't throw some Purdy picks and is efficient and moves the chains and keeps the ball. Darnold's on the injury report. He's going to play, but he's got something with abdominal. So, I think that's minor.
Some good football this weekend for sure.
Yeah, and we didn't even cover the Sunday games. I figured we'll just stick to today and Monday's championship game for college. So with that being said, as always, thank you to the chat room. If you're listening to us on audio version after the fact, we're live every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Hope to see you in the chat room. But if you're listening to us on audio, we appreciate your time as well. Thank you, Orlando. As always, thanks, Chris, for jumping in. And guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy football. Enjoy some family time, and we'll see you next week. Go ahead, Chris. Say what. Get us out of here.
Keep on rocking in the free world, folks.